What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be picking my 2023 All-Australian team. The squad of 40 has been picked with some notable absentees from the squad, and been a lot of arguments and a lot of the same old. Oh, this player should have been in instead of this player. Oh, this bloke was overlooked, and oh, the selection panel have no idea. Regardless, we have a 40 and we have a team to pick. So let's get straight into it and pick my 2023 All-Australian team. Okay, so we're going to pick our full back line first and foremost. It's going to be a tricky thing, this, because a lot of these players in here, we have a lot of talent. So we'll go through them quickly. We have Jordan Dawson, Harris Andrews, Jacob Wiedering, Darcy Moore, Isaac Quaynor, Mason Redman, Luke Ryan, Tom Stewart, James Sicily, Dan Houston, Jack Sinclair, Callum Wilkie, and obviously Nick Blakey. Now, if I were to pick the back three, I'm going to go with Cal Wilkie. Star for the Saints, been the great wall, and has definitely had an impressive season. Next to him will be Darcy Moore. I think speaks for itself. Great captain, has been superb for the team this year. Obviously missed the last couple with a hamstring injury, but definitely has made his staking claim for the side. And then on the back pocket, I'm going to pick James Sicily. Now, you might argue three overly tall players, but they can play small. They can do their job, and they're definitely more capable of being in the back six. So we move to the half-back line. I'm going to pick Jack Sinclair, the accumulator. He's been absolutely fantastic all year, and I think he's definitely well deserving of an All-Australian nod. Someone that's definitely been capable of changing a game for St Kilda, and some people have actually made criticism of the way he plays and stuff like that. So I think he's definitely taken his game to the next level and been a crucial player for the Saints to get them into the final series. Centre half back is an interesting one. You've obviously got your two tools here, either Wiedering or Andrews. I'm going to pick Wiedering. Your team doesn't finish fifth for nothing. The streak, obviously, for their winning run was superb, and he was a definite big part of that and silencing a few of the critics there. And then the other half-back flank speaks for itself. Nick Daicos. He's just an absolute star, one of the best in the business, and he's just going to run amok across that half-back line. Across the centre. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We've obviously got players to pick from here and a lot of midfielders to choose. You've got Jordan Dawson, Nocky Neal, Patrick Cripps, Josh Daicos, Jordan De Goey, Zach Merritt, Caleb Sarong, Noah Anderson, Stephen Canilio, Tom Green, Jai Newcomb, Christian Petrarca, Jack Viney, Zach Butters, Connor Rozee, Dustin Martin, Eric Gordon, Marcus Bontempelli, and Tom Liberatore. This is going to be very interesting, and I don't like that I'm recording this under pressure because I'm picking this as I go. This is just a first pick, first basis team, and obviously I've done a little bit of research in the background to see, and I think that overall this is going to be a good fight to pick. So on the wing, Errol Gordon. Simple as that. He starts there. He's a superb player. He's definitely someone that's been a superb contributor for Sydney. In fact, he's an accumulator. Just plays his own footy sometimes, and he's been absolutely superb. In the middle, look, I don't know. There's a lot to choose from. There's a lot of different assets here in this team. Marcus Bontempelli, though, clear pick. He's been superb, and I think definitely is someone that deserves his nod and probably going to be All-Australian captain as well. On the other wing, now this is where it gets tough because you've obviously got to fit a lot more of these players in the mix. I'm actually going to go Jordan Dawson. Can play in the midfield, can play half-back. Good wingman, I think. He can definitely run off it. So I'm going to pick Jordan Dawson in that position. Has had a stellar year for the Crows. Definitely up there for the Brownlow as well. And you might be thinking, Josh Daicos can play on the wing. Connor Rozee maybe, or Petrarca. Just wait your turn. Across the half-forward line. We've got two half-forward flanks and obviously centre-half-forward. It gets a bit skinny here. I'm going to go Taylor Walker, Charlie Cameron, Joe Danaher, Charlie Curnow, Jordan De Goey, Cole Langford, Toby Green, Luke Bruce, Christian Petrarca, Zach Butters, Connor Rozee, Nick Larkey, Dustin Martin, and Oscar Allen. This is going to be very interesting. You look at the players that can play up the ground and really can make a big contribution up there, and then you can look at who can play deep. So at the moment on that half-forward flank, Connor Rozee goes straight in. I think he's been superb, 30+. He's had 20+ goals for the year as well, been super. And he'll mix really, really well with Charlie Curnow at centre-half forward. Coleman medalist. You would say he plays full forward, but he gets up the ground quite a bit and helps out the Carlton midfield as well with an option there. So definitely going to be one to look out for. Christian Petrarca will be the other one on the half-forward flank. Speaks for itself. I think his TikTok gets him in there as well. Full forward. Now it gets a bit tough. But I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the team. And unfortunately, some people are going to argue with me big time. And I would love to have the likes of Luke Bruce, Nick Larkey, Cole Langford in there. They've been superb for their teams this year. But in the forward pocket, Charlie Cameron. Full forward, Taylor Walker. The other pocket, Toby Green. That's your full forward line. Two great players across each side of Taylor Walker. And Taylor Walker was almost Coleman medalist in one night. So I'm sorry for those that miss out. The forward line is a very difficult one. And obviously you're going to pick players in there that you don't really want. But I want all these players. They're all superb, talented players. And I think they've had superb years. And sometimes players just miss out. Followers. Now, this is the hard one. Because I look at the list. I'll go Lachie Neale, Adam Cerra, Jordan De Goey, Zach Merritt, Luke Jackson, Caleb Sarong, Noah Anderson, Canelio, Tom Green, Newcomb, Viney, Butters, Rowan Marshall, English, Liberatore. All very good players to pick from. So, the key one here is the ruckman. Luke Jackson, pack your bags, mate. Thank you for coming for the ceremony, but you're not getting picked. Tim English has had a superb year for the Dogs. Faded late. Very much a very tough choice to pick for the ruck stocks, but I think the way Rowan Marshall has held himself throughout the year, a ruckman that can get 25, 30 touches in a game, impact the scoreboard, move around the ground, he gets the nod for me. Rowan Marshall's been superb. Zach Butters will be the follower there. One of the Brownlow favourites, been superb. What a turnaround. A fully fit year for Zach has changed his tune massively, and I'm so proud as a Port man to see him doing wonders. Now, this is where it gets difficult. Lachie Neale's been a fabulous player throughout the year. Zach Merritt's been superb. Caleb Sarong for Freo. Viney, Canelio. Tom Liberatore, though, has just been so underrated in terms of his performances this year. The tackling machine, I think he gets a nod, and he's been absolutely fantastic. Now we pick the bench. And I hate this because you've got to fit 26 players into 4. So if I were to pick, I'm going to get this out of the way straight away so I just feel better about myself. Dan Houston, unreal. Unreal season, been superb. Deserves his nod. I think he's been fantastic. Definitely on the bench for me. Probably, look, it was borderline with Jack Sinclair. And I probably wish I did put him there, but I'm trying to avoid biasness. So, I don't really want to have that come against me. Next will be Josh Dacos. Has been unreal this season. I think borderline a wing rotation there. Him and his brother have been fantastic. I don't think they've disappointed at all. And Dacos brothers, the first time I think ever, or close to get an All-Australian nod, will be fantastic. I just look at the rest of this and I'm just thinking, far out, what do I do? I don't know. This is where it gets tough. Because I look at someone like Zach Merritt, and I debate whether or not he's had a better year than Lachie Neale. And I believe so. I think he has. Just the way he's gone about things. He obviously missed a game with concussion. But Lachie Neale's obviously got his team into finals, and I'm just not sure exactly whether or not they fight. It's just... I'm fighting my own brain at the moment. But I'm going to give it to Zach Merritt. I think he's just been a little bit better, a little bit more influential in the game, and has certainly been someone that's capable of really impacting the scoreboard a little bit more and actually being a lot more prolific with his disposals rather than just his cheap halfback flank kicks. See, now, this is where it gets interesting. You've got one more player to pick. I'm going to cut these players off one by one. Dusty's year has been good. Been fantastic. Borderline. Probably the sub, if I was to pick one. The sub. I look at someone like Cog. He's had a fantastic year. Borderline All-Australian as well. Tom Stewart. Been fantastic for the Cats. But obviously they're not playing finals. And I still think their defence has been hit and miss throughout the year. I look at someone like Mason Redmond's had a good year. Lachie Neale's been fantastic. But I'm actually going to put in Nick Larkey. Now, you might think, why is a tall forward on the bench? you can have that. You can have a rotation. This team isn't playing anywhere. Just pick players. Pick them in their positions they're supposed to play, and then pick an extra one on the bench. You got a position for each. That's why the bench will have Dan Houston, Josh Dacos, Zach Merritt, and Nick Larkey. That's my team. And I rate it. You know what? I love it. I think it's sensational. And I'm going to back it in. I'm just going to back it in. I'm going to confirm. I'm going to submit it. That's what I'm doing. I'm submitting. That team's done. I'm looking forward to get the criticism, because I think it's a very, very good team. So I'm going to run through it quickly for you. Cal Wilkie, Darcy Moore, James Sicily, Jack Sinclair, Jacob Wiedering, Nick Dacos, Jordan Dawson, Marcus Bontempelli, Errol Goulden, Connor Rosie, Charlie Curnow, Christian Petrarca, Charlie Cameron, Taylor Walker, Toby Green, Rowan Marshall, Zach Butters, Tom Liberatore, Dan Houston, Josh Dacos, Zach Merritt, and Nick Larkey. That is my 22. That is my All-Australian team for 2023. And just before I finish off, you thought of all... I said before, we're going to have a sub. That sub's Travis Boak. You going to fight me on that? Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, Port fans, and all the other AFL fans watching as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content to come your way. Thank you so much once again. My name's Anthony, and as always, can't pay.